Hi everyone, this is Danny from Soraya, and the other evening I was having a beer with this friend of mine, and she told me about this idea of generating stories for children using AI. And I was like, that's pretty straightforward, leveraging no code and AI. And in this video, I will show you how you can do it too in a few minutes. Okay, so the first thing we do is to generate our form in order to collect the idea for the story and the emails. So we go on generate new form, we create our form, my children story, and we select short answer. Maybe here you didn't see it well, and this field is where the user is gonna type in his or her idea for a story. Your best story idea. And then we want to collect the email of our user, because we need to send them the story by email as a PDF document. Okay, so enter your email to receive your story. So already with just these two fields, we are able to build all this scenario. Then in the example that I showed you before, we have also the age and the language. This is if you want to complicate things, you can add as many parameters as you like. And then the ending, this is the thank you page. And what I think is important in a use case like this is to allow the user to fill again the form if they want. So generate another story. So here we go. This is very simple. Okay, so we can publish it. This is live. You have now a URL, and as you can see here, you can input your idea and your email. This is going to be stored in Fillout database, but then nothing is going to happen. Okay, this is normal. So now we need to connect this form to Make. So Make is still an integration that is in beta in Fillout. So in order to do this, you need to go to integrations. As you can see, there are many already. You go to Make. You select your organization. If you're just starting with Make, probably you only have one. And here you will need to install Fillout and select again your organization and click install. I already have done it for mine, so I cannot do it anymore. Once you do it, basically you will be able to see Fillout application on Make side. Okay, so basically on Fillout part, we are done. We already have our form collecting the information that we need. So now the fun part is setting up Make. So the first thing you need to do in Make is to create a new scenario. You create a new scenario, and the first module that we will need is to get Fillout. As you see, Fillout has here a banner saying invited. This is why we needed to install it on Fillout, the connection. So we click on Fillout. We have only one optional variable, that is watch new responses. So what this module will do is to understand when a new form has been submitted. In order to connect Fillout to Make, we need to create a webhook, my test webhook, we call it, my demo webhook. Okay, and here I already see my connection. Okay, if the first time, you will need to add a connection. Okay, my Fillout demo connection. And this basically will authorize Make to access Fillout account. So I click on authorize. And here I'm using this connection. You can create as many connections as you want. You just need one. And here you are going to select your forms. So generate children's stories was my previous form, the one that I showed you at the beginning. So the one that I just created is my children's story. I select the form. And I click OK. So if I run this module, okay, now it's listening. The webhook is listening for new submissions. So basically, if I go here and I click on copy, and I fill with an idea, my story idea, and I enter my email, and I click on submit. Now here I will receive, here we go, it detected that a new form has been submitted, and here I will have my answers, my story idea, and my email. Now that we have collected all the information from our form, the next step is to set up the OpenAI module in order to make the AI work on those inputs. So we select here the OpenAI create a completion module. Okay, here you need to set up an account. I will use my OpenAI account, but basically if you don't have one, you need to add an account and enter your API key in this field. And if you don't have an OpenAI API key, you need to go to the OpenAI API website, sign up, get your API key, and then come back to make, paste, and create your connection. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Then let's select the model. So the model, you can choose between GPT-4 and GPT 3.5. 3.5 is much faster, even if it's less accurate. So it depends on your use case. The messages, the role, we select the system. Here is where we give some more high-level context to the AI. So in my case, the prompt that I created before is this one. You're an experienced storyteller specializing in writing stories for children. Your stories teach good values and have a moral and learning. You mix Esopo, Gianni Rodari, and Dino Buzzati writing style, and those are Italian writers. Okay, you can really be creative here, depending on what you're expecting from your output. You can test, see what happens. Then you select the user role, and in the user, it's actually your prompt. So maybe if you already use ChatGPT, you're more familiar with this kind of prompts. So here, this is the prompt that I used. Write a children's story based on the instructions below and in the following language. So in our case, in the form that we did, we don't allow the user to select the language, so we can take this out. Generate a 1005 chapter, each one with a title. Okay. Targeted age, this one we don't have it. Instead, we have the idea for the story, so we get the idea here, your best story idea. It's important to put variables between backticks, okay, so that the model understands that that's the variable that needs to be analyzed. Another important thing of the prompt is to ask the model to write the output in a JSON format. JSON is a formatting language often used on API calls, and it's based on key values. So our key is going to be story title, and the value is going to be the real title of the story. So here we give an example of a JSON format with 5 titles and a story title and the end variable. And also, this is also quite good. Give an example of possible outcome. Okay, so this is a children's story, an Italian children's story, and then again you can end your prompt as you want. So this is where all the creative part is done, so you can test out according to the output that you desire. Okay, so once you set up the ChatGPT module, since we asked for a JSON output, we use the parse JSON module, and we input the content that basically is the output of the GPT module. So we can have a look on how it would be. Okay, so if I take, for instance, our example. So we know basically that all the outputs of the GPT module, they're gonna look like that. So if we run this module, you see that this is the power of the JSON format. We can recall then each variable values separately. So we don't have just a long text, but we separate it in different values. So title, chapter, content, and at the end. Okay, so now we need to paste this content somewhere. So if it's the first time you're using Make, you're not familiar with HTML, the best thing would be to create a Google Doc template like this one. So you just open a whatever Google Doc you want, and everything that you put between curly brackets is gonna be a variable, and it's gonna populate this part. So as you can see, I used the same same ones. So I have the story title, content, and I'm missing here the end. Sorry. And maybe we put at the end like the title. Okay, so this is basically our template. And in Make, so we can create a document from a template. We really have that module, create a document from a template, and you will need to add your connection to Google as we saw for the other modules. And then we look for our template depending on the folder that you added. And as you can see here, I see all my variables, and this is where I'm gonna paste all my, so that's the title, that's the content, title, content, chapter 3 content, chapter 5 title, okay. So now we need to give a title to the document, so we can say that it's the story title by, and here we can use the user email, for instance, since we don't have the name. So the file is going to be saved as story title by the email of the user, and then we can set the location where we want to save this document. So again, I'll use these use cases, children stories, and that's it. So I know that that document is going to be saved in the same folder. Okay, great. Now what we need to do is to send this document PDF of the story. Now we have created the document, so now we need to download the document to send it via email. So we have another module that is download document. Again, we're gonna look for the document, but in this case actually we're gonna map it, because we're gonna have the document ID, because that's the document ID of the document that we created before. And then we want it to download it as a PDF. Okay. Then we need to send an email. So you have several modules. You also have the email module. Yeah, I'm using Gmail, so it makes things faster. So you can say send an email. Again, you need to create your connection. 2, we're gonna set the email address of the user. The subject, we can say here's your story. The content, hi storyteller, I attached your dreams. Regards. Okay, if we send this email like this, it's not gonna work because Gmail actually expects HTML format. So we also need to use another. I mean, it's gonna work, but it's gonna put all the words in the same line. So the best would be to use a markdown module in order to generate an HTML and then paste the output of that module. Last thing we need to do is actually to add as an attachment our PDF document. So we're gonna click on add an attachment. The Gmail module will see already that there was a download of a Google Doc document before, so you're gonna be able to map it directly on your email. So you click on here, you click OK, you save, you make sure that your scenario is set to on, and then you can go to fill out, you can copy your URL, and here you can write your idea. So a young boy discovers friendship with a frog. The user adds his email. You submit. And now, normally if everything works, we're gonna see the scenario running here. So in order to see all the runs, you click on the back arrow, and here as you can see the scenario is running. So it's generating, it's downloading the document, and now sending the email. So now I should receive an email with my story, and here it is. Here's your story. Hi storyteller, find and attach your dreams. Regards, Daniel. I can click on my story, and here I have it. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope that you learned something today. The idea is that you can really generate a lot of things. You can think of a lot of use cases leveraging both no-code automation and AI today. This was an example, but you can think of many other things for content generation. So if you enjoyed the video, please click subscribe. That will help us keep generating these kind of videos. And also, if you want to save some time, you find the Make Blueprint in the description so that you will just import it and get all the scenario ready to use.